Of all the colors in the world, the animators had to make the wall outside white. I can't tell if it's a wall or a white void. The detective's arm clips through his chest, and the file clips through the computer mouse. Come on, animation, at least save the clipping until past the 10-second mark. Also, the file is slightly floating above the desk. If you need proof, just look at the shadow that it makes. Last but not least, how is the file keeping itself slightly open? That shouldn't be possible unless something is keeping it open, which we see later on is not the case. Why does each photo of each kid have a background that matches their shirt color? It's hard to tell what's their shirt and what's the background. Where did the light that was just on the paper go? The picture of the pizzeria has slightly moved. Speaking of the pizzeria, why was that photo taken at night? I've watched enough HLN to know that you're supposed to take a crime scene photo during the day, unless the crime took place at night, which you see later it didn't. The A in pizza is the classic Minecraft style to A with the creeper face. While it would fit in an animation about actual Minecraft, I don't think it works here. If you look closely at the paper, you can see that this animation takes place in St. Louis, which is a nice reference to where this animation was made. Also, perfect transition. Despite the amount of problems I found with this part of the animation, it was really nice to see the animators make a prologue that wasn't tuned to music. And lastly, I really like the way the investigator looks. His coat and tie aren't a part of the skin, and it looks great. What's with the red lighting on the blue guy? We see later that there's no light source on the animatronics, but I guess they had to be illuminated somehow. Somebody turn off the lights! The amount of overexposure is killing me! With the way the animation was synced, I was expecting the animation to change shots here, but instead we just sit here for a little longer than necessary.
He's been waiting up and then impatient so long.
Again with the overexposure! What could be out there making that amount of light? Also, the detective moves a lot closer to the animatronics in between shots, so his arm won't break off from reaching that far. Last time I'm allowing overexposure. What's out there? The sun? It's cool to see the kid on the right playing Pac-Man. Unlike the A earlier, this is fitting because this scene takes place in the 80s. I didn't realize that the pizzeria was already haunted. Or maybe this is an animation glitch. No, surely the animators would pay attention and get rid of stuff like that. The kid at the bottom right shirt is a part of the skin, so whenever he moves his legs it looks like the shirt is breaking. Also, several of the people have moved places in between shots, so rather than count how many, I'ma just add 3 cons and be done with it. Despite having a bit of criticism for this scene, it still came out looking pretty good, mainly because of the map.
30 years ago, when he took them down below, and tonight he walks again, so step inside, enjoy the show.
Wait, the lights are sea lanterns? So the pizzeria's lights should stay on forever? Who made this map? Sith. What kind of position is the kid on the left's arm in? I tried to hold the same position myself, and it is not comfortable. Also, all of the kids swap positions in between shots. Why is this mistake so repetitive?
Follow me, then you'll see. Follow, 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 but the truth is hard to swallow. Follow.
Kids, I just got on to y'all about position swapping. That doesn't mean do it again. Oh come on, that is one of the least convincing things I've ever seen. No way the kids are stupid enough to fall. Wait, never mind. These kids are that dumb. With how packed the room was, how did nobody notice this happening? There has to be at least one responsible adult in there. Also, the door has now completely disappeared from the door frame. Another terrible arm position. This one looks like it could have been avoided though. These guys just witnessed Afton massacre their boy, but they don't scream or act horrified. Instead, they just make faces a kid would make whenever they get grounded. Does this man really think he can just run past Afton, who takes up the entire door? I knew these kids were dumb for falling for Afton's bad disguise, but this takes it to a whole new level. Also, Afton's arm is clipping through his face. Also, why is this kid not even trying to escape from Afton's grip? Does he want to die? Also to the third, based on where Afton was holding the knife, that blood probably came from his fingers. Pay attention, man! Speaking of the knife, how does it not have any blood on it from the first kid that Afton killed? Okay, I'm sick of talking about cons, let's move on to the pros. The blood hitting Afton's face was animated perfectly, and it goes to show that this animation is meant to be taken seriously. Okay, the fact that we get to see Afton's chest move when he breathes is really cool. It sounds weird, I know, but think, have you ever seen this in another Minecraft animation? Kid, it's great that you're finally taking my advice and screaming for help, but screaming at a wall does nothing to help your case. Also, what's up with the dead kid on the left? He looks like he's trying to maintain perfect posture or something. Do none of these kids have natural reactions? Or is it just me? Because typically whenever someone grabs my head, I run and turn around, not keep banging on a wall. Of all the kids, this one could have run. Afton was literally just sitting there. Surely you could have gotten away? Despite how intense this scene is, I thought it was very well done. I genuinely don't think I've ever seen Afton brought to life so well before. It felt like he had a motive, his rig and knife looked great, the level of emotion was perfect, so I think it deserved 3 pros.
Being so rotten came back to haunt him. They know.
See, the investigator has this entire flashback because he touched one of the animatronics. Not even really sure what to say about that. Mr. Investigator's flashlight has dropped to the ground in between shots. So the investigator looks at the spring Bonnie suit like he's going to go over there and check it out, but then pulls a complete 180. This makes about as much sense as the FNAF lore. Seeing Springtrap's eyes above the investigator is good foreshadowing of what will happen next.
Follow.
The investigator's legs slightly clip through the stairs. So wait, Freddy's had a built-in room for Afton? Of course an incident would happen. What were they thinking? Wait. Why is the exit sign on? I thought this place was abandoned, so I guess it isn't. But if it isn't abandoned, then how did the investigator get in so easily?
Then you'll see. Follow. But the truth is hard to swallow.
This room is very well done. I like the lamp and computer, but they do kind of confirm that this place isn't abandoned. It makes the story more confusing, but I already called that, so I'm just adding the pro.
Then you'll see. Follow me, see a nightmare in action.
In the first shot, the detective's flashlight has already moved into position, but in the next shot, it does it again. Also, Springtrap is sliding a bit when he crawls towards the investigator. Springtrap clips straight through the wall and trapdoor. Also, Springtrap's face clips through his shoulder. Also again, it's kind of convenient that when the investigator drops his flashlight, it lands pointing at Springtrap's face. Speaking of Springtrap, man does his rig look great. It definitely makes up for that awful disguise earlier. Okay, last con for this scene. When Springtrap crawls out of the vent, he just sits there for a solid second before attacking. He probably just wanted us to admire his rig. Yikes, looks like the investigator broke his arm in 3 different places. I guess fighting isn't the investigator's strong suit, because that is not how you make a fist. No wonder his hand hurt so bad. And speaking of fighting, how does the investigator punch Springtrap, but when he falls back, he's at running distance away from Springtrap? I meant to bring this up earlier but forgot to, so I'm saying it now. Are there 2 different Springtraps? Because we saw earlier the suit that Afton used to kill the kids. And now we see that Afton's has become Springtrap, meaning he possessed a different suit. Maybe the pizzeria had 2 suits? Either way, it doesn't make much sense. Back to the pros. I like that the lamp moves and the detective bumps into it. In most Minecraft animations, the 2 things would clip through each other, but not here, so pro. Also, this fight is synced very well with the music and is entertaining to watch. It remains this way for the rest of the video, so 3 pros. Everyone, it's a miracle. Springtrap's ears didn't clip through the wall. Typically something like that would happen, but the animators were careful, so I'll give her a pro. Also, the glass break is very well done. In the first shot, the investigator and Springtrap break through the glass, but in the next shot, they do it again. The investigator should have fallen on Springtrap, but Springtrap somehow got out of the way in 0.05 seconds. Also, this knife wasn't in previous shots. Smells like plot convenience to me. Back to the pros. Despite criticizing it earlier, this glass break looks great. Also, there were some more great facial expressions for both the investigator and Springtrap. Why is the investigator looking around like there's no way out? There's literally a staircase on his left. If you look above the investigator, you can see where the map ends. The animators tried to cover this up with fog, but it takes more than fog to hide that from me, Seth. The wet floor sign that Springtrap knocks over is back up a few shots later. Maybe it's haunted like the pool sticks? Also, Springtrap doesn't even follow through with his punch. He just waits for the investigator to pull out the knife. Also again, Springtrap's arm clips through his chest. Before we move on, I just wanted to congratulate the animators on how well this environment looks, especially the water. I know it was a big challenge to pull this off, so 3 pros. So here's where the animation splits into 2 different endings. The amount of pros and cons will carry over to both sides, and we'll have version A pros and cons, and version B pros and cons. The Afton kill streak will also carry over in chains on both sides as well. In the first shot, Springtrap knocks the knife out of the investigator's hand, but the animation replays in the next shot. Also, the fog is very overexposed on the left. The moon can't make something that bright. Springtrap moves much closer to the investigator in between shots. More great facial expressions. Also, getting to see the detective's hair get wet is kinda cool because most animations don't add that. Back to the cons. I doubt Springtrap will be able to throw a body with that force, unless he's secretly Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Also, the side of the investigator's face is overexposed. Hopefully this is the last time I have to bring this up. This shot implies that the body goes into the sewer, but in previous shots there was a sewer grate to stop stuff like that from getting in. Alright, moving on to version B. Keep in mind that the stats will be different from version A here. I really doubt the investigator would be able to cut off Springtrap's whole arm in one swing, but he hits him in a joint, so maybe? Nah, I don't think so. And here we have it, the most impressive visuals in this entire video. It looks absolutely incredible, so 3 pros. Also, getting to see Springtrap reach out at the investigator before dying is really cool. It just further establishes who he is in this animation. Nice try, animators, cutting to a different shot before Springtrap clips through the sewer grate. But you can't fool me! Creative end credits. Now it's time to add the overalls. For those who haven't seen my past videos, I asked myself how good the story, visuals, and syncing were of this animation, and add 5 pros or cons to the appropriate side. In the end, I'll add the stats I give here to the version A pros and cons, and version B pros and cons. Sounds confusing, I know, but just watch. Okay, the story of this animation was really good. I like how the animators used FNAF characters, but still came up with their own story, so 3 pros. Okay, this is something I definitely didn't give the animators enough credit for. The visuals in this animation were very impressive and never dull, so 5 pros. This easily is the most important here. Thankfully, Enchanted Mob and Examination knocked it out of the park again with the syncing, so yeah, you know the drill. In the end, this animation was great. The story was creative and unique, the visuals never failed to blow me away, and the syncing was spot on. Unfortunately though, it's not perfect. A lot of the problems are really repetitive, like the overexposure and moving between shots thing, but most of it isn't noticeable unless you're looking for it, and I give this a 9 out of 10. A highly underrated animation, and I hope everyone watching goes and checks it out.